Garden's Wild Jungle. It's too pretty of a morning for it to be a Thursday. It's criminal. I don't want to go to work. I want to be in this garden. It doesn't even feel like it's 72 degrees out here. This is so pretty. And the not so pretty. The in-ground garden. Strawberries. Volunteer weed. Asparagus. A couple bits of ginger. Bell peppers. I wanted to see how good bell peppers did in the ground versus the boxes. And yeah, boxes for the win for sure. Tomatoes in the ground versus boxes. Squash. Winter squash, I believe. Tons of herbs. Still getting lots of deal. Not sure what this is. I planted it though. Some kind of flower. And this is an herb. What kind of herb is this? Tarragon? Don't know what to do with it, but I planted it. I believe that is sage. And lemon balm. She's pretty. Dahlias, they're getting smaller and smaller. The limbs, we've been picking them all winter. Spring and summer. Calendula. Chamomile. That's chamomile. It's also getting, the flowers are getting smaller and smaller. This is the one that comes back every year. More lemon balm. The second planting of chamomile. The lemon balm does need to be pushed back. It's getting kind of greedy. Yep. Tomatillos and peas. Sweet peas. Cruzy planted some. And this was just a fun experiment. I had lettuce and stuff in this bed, but I planted some artichokes just to see the artichoke bloom. I'd never seen an artichoke bloom before. Some more of Cruzy's peas. She planted peas everywhere. I gotta cut this out. I'm assuming they're a one and done. I think I read somewhere that artichokes were perennials, but they're not behaving like perennials. So I'm gonna cut them off at the base, and if they come back next year, we'll know. I'm not gonna pull them. I'll pull some because I don't need that many. And I don't know what this is. It volunteered. Of course, we got bird baths, succulents. It's what Rambling Wild Garden. Is it complete without succulents? More ginger, just in the pot. A very smoked lemon balm in a bucket. It's coming back though. She's strong. Peppers I never got planted. Had plenty. I have a hard time throwing away perfectly good plants. I could let them die on their own though, but they're very resilient. And our green stalks, strawberries are still producing. Especially, oh, looks like Cruzy missed some. Okay, let me pop those off. Yeah, the strawberries are still producing. They've been really nice. The ones in the ground quit. They still look really good, but they quit. The ones here are still producing though, so green stalks for the win. Lots of baby garden spiders. They are our friend. Even though they are very creepy, they are our friend. Spoon tomatoes. That's what this wild It's wild bushes. It's spoon tomatoes. I'm enjoying them. Tiny. There's none on there. I ate them all last night. Oh, wild garden panther. He's not as graceful as he pretends to be. Random patches of zinnias. I had some extra seeds. And I had no intentions of planting these beds in more produce. And I thought, well, flowers. And then this is my backup squash until I lose the other ones from squash bugs, which was what I was afraid of, but it did not happen. Of course, I'm trying a native bed, but natives take a lot longer, and perennials. So I sprinkled in zinnias and sunflowers to make it look like something this year. It looks like somehow I managed to get like a watermelon or two in here, which is not unusual because we were eating watermelon in the garden. But I've got yarrow, sunflowers, there's strawberries on the other side, there's sage, of course there's little patches of zinnias. They'll fill in. It was full of zinnias last year, but I wanted to try putting some perennials out here. And the yarrow looks like it's doing pretty good, but this ground is bad. It doesn't grow things very well, so it takes a few years to get beds established. Of course, I planted strawberries on this side. Wild garden cat. And then this is a blackberry bush. We'll see. We'll see what next year brings. Nothing lost. I have no idea what this is. I do know it's some kind of vegetable. Don't know what kind though. And this is the squash beast. That's one squash plant. We've been picking on it all season. I cut the limbs off of it because I also like to plant my cilantro underneath it because it's shaded and cooled. So that gives me two spots and the spot for one. Got some baby squashes. Squash grows so fast. Of course, my pepper jungle. Lots and lots of peppers. Lots of peppers. These things are as tall as I am. They're 5 feet tall. Next year, I probably won't plant my cucumbers along the back of my pepper bed. I think I'm just going to give them more space, and I'm going to plant the cucumbers on the other side. We'll put up another trellis just for them. I didn't mind it the last few years, but this year I'm tired of chasing the peppers or the cucumbers out of the pepper plants. But these are the silver slicers. So they're really easy to see since they're not dark green. I hate trying to find dark green cucumbers and dark green cucumber vines. So the white ones, they stick out like bright and they don't get bitter. Their skin is also thinner. I don't know if they're a good pickling cucumber. I generally don't pickle things or preserve things. I usually just eat fresh. Of course, the wild cherry tomato bed. These are all cherry tomatoes. These are Brad's Atomic, I believe, from Wild Boar Farms. That right there is Amish paste tomato. I've had several that size. Typically Amish pastes are around this size, but these are getting huge. I got my Amish pastes from In My Gardener. Of course, I've got parsley. I don't know what this is. I'm thinking it might be bindweed, or it could be some kind of flower, but I'm gonna pull it because I don't know what it is. Lots of herbs. This whole bed is cherry tomatoes and herbs. Cruz would be better off telling you what they were. I know there's like oregano and parsley, thyme. There's sage. but I'm not the best at identifying them. I'd have to go through and snack on them. This is what happened yesterday. The weight finally got to them. They're completely loaded and have fallen down, so I get to very gently, if I can, pick them up if they're savable. See, some of them got so heavy they split, and tie them back to the trellis. They were tied, but not tied tall enough. So, but yeah, I mean, they're way up there. You can see where the trellis ends, and then the plants just keep going, and they're fully loaded. That's what happened here. They just got too tall and then they broke. So I'm gonna trellis them up, and I'll probably snap them off if they're, if they're not gonna stay up there. If they're gonna just keep being broken like that, I'll probably just give them a haircut. It won't hurt nothing. And then this bed on this side, I did heavily groom it this year, which I don't normally do, but I did this year. I kept all the lower branches off. I kept all succulents off, and because I didn't need a million small tomatoes because I had so many cherries. I just wanted to focus on some of these big boys, and they are huge. These are classic beef, and I got some Abe Lincolns over here. They sort of did the same thing, so they got too big and broke off, so I had to give them a little bit of a trim, and I'm gonna put them back up. But we've already harvested probably 2 or 3 good weeks worth, and they're still producing. Got lots and lots. Oh, and basil. I forgot about the basil. The basil is in the front, all the way down. There's 6 different varieties of basil. I also have basil growing in the walkways. I'd pull it, but it's not bothering me. Plus, I love smelling it when I brush up against it. We've got Dr. Witchies. They're a yellow tomato. They're really good. So I got, usually I do two of each variety, but they are actually yellow when they're completely ready. They're very pretty. And let's see, what else did I plant? Black boar. This one's got a little sun damage, but it's okay. I picked a bunch of them off last night because they were all ready. And see, black, brown. So these are black, brown bars. They're pretty. They get this little stripey, and then they turn like a blush color. They don't get real dark red, but I'm enjoying them. And then of course my black beauties. Again, I picked everything last night, but the black beauties, this will turn cherry red and this will stay black. So I don't have a whole lot. I had borage in here, but the borage is finally starting to die out. But yeah, that's about a 35 foot row. And I don't plant them, I don't think my spacing is too aggressive. I'd say between each, that one and that one, maybe, I don't know, maybe 24 inches. Some is more, some is less. That's a really pretty one. That's another real dark black one. Bugs. You see them, kill them. Yep. So that's a really pretty black one. Okay, well, I gotta go to work. It sucks. It's so pretty out here. My failed attempt at a in-ground flower garden, I must have gotten some bad compost or mulch, because everything I put this compost and mulch on this year in this big garden, it was all on the ground. I just did this row and then the center row. Nothing really did very well, and all the beans, every time I put beans in it, it dies. So I figure I got some contamination. It'll work its way out. But yeah, all of the peonies that I planted last fall, they came up, they looked so good, and then I composted and put mulch down, and it killed everything. The only thing that didn't kill is the lemongrass. But again, lemongrass should, at this age, it should be 5-6 feet tall, 3-4 feet wide, and it's surviving, but it ain't thriving. But maybe next year will be better for this. I had big plans to have all this covered in flowers and vining things, but it did not work. Not everything's a success. The ducks, things that I didn't get to planting, but I don't want to let die, so I just I'm watering it until I get it planted. Of course, hanging baskets. What garden would be complete without a hanging basket? Okay, well, that is July 18th garden tour. Lots of rain this spring and summer. I haven't had to water too much. There's been 1 or 2 dry spells. I ran the sprinklers, but other than that, it's just thriving. I'm loving this year. Okay, y'all. Happy gardening. Get dirty.